And your point regarding, you don't have time, actually the problem is you have to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want? What is it that you want? If you say you do not have time, then you have to prioritize. Not only you, everybody has the need to prioritize. And the Buddha, explained that you need to prioritize. Even for a businessman, he told them how you are supposed to organize your business. Divide your capital into 4 parts. To a husband, how to treat your wife, give wives gifts regularly, and his whole final trust before he attained Buddhahood was to follow the middle path. So you ask yourself, what is your priority? What is it that you want first? And then you have to strike a balance. You can't go onto one extreme, and then neglect all the others. If you're a householder, you have to prioritize. My children comes first, my wife I have to look after, then I have to look this and the other. So if we follow those patterns, they're very, very, comprehensive and wholesome, then there's no issue of not having time. Maybe, you'll have to cut down on some of the things that you find not that important, and then devote this time. And we're not expecting, or the Buddha didn't expect you to spend 24 hours, 7 days a week, just sitting down and reading and doing Dhamma work. It's only for, the moments that are available, and on a daily basis, we're not talking in terms of hours and hours, just a few moments in the day. And surely we can afford those few moments. And funnily enough, those who say they don't have the time are the ones who need it most. That is the funny thing about it. If you catch hold of a person and he says he has no time, that is the person who needs Buddhism most. The hurried person, the person who is so busy, who has no time, who is in a rat race, he needs Buddhism more than anybody else, because he will benefit. He will get optimum from whatever time that he is spending, because his focus, his concentration, his mindfulness would be sharper in the hours that he's putting to his job or his task. Then his health would be better tuned. He will have better psychosomatic plus points. In fact, he'll be happier, and there are many practices in Buddhism that creates a mental state that brings about an outflow of endorphins. It's all in our body system. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you're happy, and if you're smiling, and if you're contented, these endorphins automatically come out. So, he doesn't realize it. That's the problem. The problem is we don't understand that the Dhamma, the practices in Buddhism, has so much of benefit. Even if you go to the vihara and just sit down, just touch the floor of the vihara grounds, you are charged by positive energy. And this has been proven scientifically today. When you hear the paritas, those are vibrations, the intonations, they create positive vibrations. Now, if we can only explain this, the practical aspects, this is why we do it. We are doing things without understanding. We are doing a lot of wonderful things, but we are not benefiting it to the optimum, because nobody bothered to explain that when you wish somebody Sukhi Hotu, when you have, Mudita, by giving dana, you are going to benefit, not that person. These have been discovered in modern science and modern medicine today. And there's more and more scientific evidence to show that the Buddha was able to see beyond just the superficial aspect of these practices. They're very deep benefits, and deeper understanding will generate a greater awareness and a greater, understanding will then bring about more and more entrenched practices. So we need to work it out, and hopefully over a period of time. And of course, if you develop these things from a young age, even from when the child is at home, And again, the Buddha has spoken about the importance of developing this at home from a young age, that it becomes second nature, then you're going to benefit. You're going to benefit.
Exactly. Well, folks, Dr. Kumarasare just happened to tell us, whenever you walk into a temple, you're positively charged. Well, I think all of us, we have experienced that whenever we just walk out of our house and just come out of the street and just walk into a temple, we feel the difference. Sir, how come that only a few men want to experience this difference and there are always more women in the temples than men?
I think many of them don't understand because we've gone into a kind of a ritual or routine in doing certain things, that the underlying benefits are not understood. I mean, when you do a puja, for example, it has become ritualistic, without the mind being involved, without you being involved in that, actually being so immersed in it. And this is where we need, I think, to try and explain, even from a young age, these are the benefits. For example, I'll give you a very, very clear example of how we have become so routinized, and we have become so regimented in doing things. How do you do namaskara?
Namo tassa bhagavato.
Say it.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Yeah. When you go to the vihara next time, you just see how it is being said. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. You can hardly hear. Whereas it should be Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. There is a vibration. And that is how the Buddha and the Sangha used to do it. They used to recite. When you have that intonation, that vibrations, when I can hear my own voice, my mind is in a sublime state. That is bhavana. That is meditation. We tend to think that bhavana is, going out in the forest and sitting under the tree cross. No. Even when you pray that way, when you do your namaskara, that's a bhavana. My mind has got nowhere. At that moment when I was focused on my namaskara, and pardon me for saying this, when we go to the viharas, we are in such a hurry to finish it. You'll find that the congregation is not able to repeat what the Venerable has said. Before you can say your side of it, he's already gone to Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. And this is actually something shocking to me. And I've been meditating on this. I said, how are we going to stop it? We are not going to catch a plane. We are not going to catch a train. So if we can follow this, these are things, and if we can explain this is how it is, at least let the congregation say it completely and finish off the namaskara. It's a beautiful thing. And you can see it in TV, you can see it in, in actual life, any of the viharas you go. When we do our, prayers, we are not saying it with that kind of sraddha, that kind of vibrations that must come. And this sound is energy. It is positive energy. It is powerful. Yeah. When I wish you, I am putting all my positive energy to you. Imagine every day if your parents wish you Sukhi Hotu, they are charging you, they are protecting you. This is living Buddhism. This is the Dhamma. We don't do it. Now we don't understand what we are doing it. Therefore we don't benefit. So hopefully, like these talks and some of the things that I have been trying to emphasize will bring about a new realization, and we will benefit from it. You don't have to, go and buy something or, spend a lot of money to make a puja and dana and all. Even this kind of dana is a fantastic dana. You're giving yourself, and all the others. So I think we need to go back to the Buddha's period of being a revolutionary, because he was a revolutionary. Many things were taking place which was not acceptable as far as his thinking process was concerned, or his thoughts process was concerned. And he questioned and he changed. Now we need to question and we need to change. If we question and we change, you will find that there will be an improvement. There would be, everybody saying, Buddhan Saranam Gacchami together, and the whole hall will be vibrating with that kind of, intonation of the Dhamma, of the various parittas. But now they're so shy, so timid. How can you do that? I mean, it's unheard of. It's in the Buddha's sense of the Dhamma, it was unthinkable. So maybe, these kinds of things, greeting each other, smiling each other. When you go to viharas, they don't even smile at you. So what are we talking about? Metta, Karuna, Mudita and Upeka. You don't know each other. You're meeting each other so often and yet you don't talk to each other. That is what we need to emphasize. Everyday, practical, living Buddhism. Then you will find this is the result of, the Dhamma. Buddhism can be seen in the lives, in the faces, in the cheerfulness, in the child who is confident, who is, enthusiastic, keen, cheerful. This should show. When you look at the Buddha statue, you will find that he is always smiling. Why? Why is the Buddha image